news, as I said earlier, is that we're no longer dependent on the media. And we will be less and less dependent on it. Because this tide can never turn. The power of the newspapers, and my goodness, you have such bad newspapers. The power of the mainstream TV, and don't even get me started about that, is less and less. The time will come within 10 years when most television will be consumed on the internet, and no one will be able to control it. And anyone will be able to watch anything that they want. Will be able to listen to anyone they want to listen to without the distortions of the billionaire press barons and media owners. But as for now, I honestly feel that Israel has spent a very great deal of what remaining capital she had left in the bank on this Gaza war. I think more people are hostile to the way Israel behaves than have ever been before. I'm absolutely convinced about that. I'll give you an example from the local newspaper today, which gave a picture, and I don't know how many column inches, Ron, about a quarter of a page, in a New Jersey newspaper, of a picture of an Israeli soldier with a T-shirt, with a picture of a pregnant Palestinian woman with the slogan, "One bullet kills two." This shocking example of the brutality of the so-called Israel Defense Force would not have appeared in a New Jersey newspaper just 12 or 24 months ago. Of that, I'm sure. It certainly would not have been given the prominence that it was today. And if it got that prominence in a New Jersey newspaper around the world, that story and that picture will have been seen by hundreds of millions of people and will have elicited exactly the same response as it did from you around these tables today. So, I believe that Israel has spent a lot of her remaining capital. And the election of Netanyahu and Lieberman and the election of President Obama is actually a tremendous opportunity for us. It's a window which has opened for us, and we must be sure to pass through it with skill and enthusiasm.
Just to reiterate, all these questions have not been altered anyway. They're exactly how they were written. So, and I promised myself I wouldn't ask this question in a Scottish accent, so. Mr. Galloway, why does the U.S. support Israel? Is Israel using the U.S. or is the U.S. using Israel for its own interests?
This is a very important question, and it's one that many people get the wrong answer to. America is using Israel. Or rather, the people who rule America are using Israel. The ordinary people of America are not using Israel, but the powerful in America have used Israel for the same purpose that the British ruling class set it up in the first place. Israel's main purpose is to keep the Arabs divided and weak so that the West can steal their things. This is the role of Israel in the region. Just like Mr. Balfour's declaration in my place of work, Sykes and Picot, with their rulers and their maps and their pens, divided the Arab world into 23 mini-states and chose the puppet rulers that would govern them. Israel is a part of that imperial plan. If you get the answer to that question wrong, then you end up explaining everything by the fact that this Jewish man or other, who ended up in this position or other, is the problem. And if we could only remove him, then America would suddenly start behaving well towards the Palestinians and the Arabs. That's clearly not true. because America behaves towards the Palestinians and the Arabs the same way it behaves towards the Vietnamese and the Cambodians and the Laos and the Nicaraguans and the Chileans and the Salvadorians and all over the world. Imperialism behaves in the way that it behaves because it's imperialism. The old Aesopian story is the one that matters, about the scorpion asking the dog if he can sit on his back to swim across the river. And the dog says, "You'll sting me." And the scorpion says, "Of course I won't sting you. I want you to swim me across the river." So he climbs on the dog's back. The dog sets off from the bank, and halfway across the river he feels the sting in his back. Dying, he asks the scorpion, "Why did you sting me?" He says, "I'm a scorpion." Britain behaved as it did when it had an empire on which the sun never set. Though, as my Irish grandfather said, that's because God would never trust the British in the dark. We behaved as we did because we were the empire. And the United States behaves around the world as it did. Hopefully that will begin to change a little because it is the new empire. And Israel is a tool of the empire. The tail can never wag the dog. The dog always wags the tail.
Which past or current leader do you think would have the greatest positive impact on the Middle East as a whole?
Well, the greatest Arab leader is Hugo Chavez, don't you think?
Well, we'd like to congratulate Mr. Galloway on his new Palestinian passport that he was given. So, this leads into the question that this person wanted to ask. I think it's fun. Will you be willing to run for Palestinian presidency?
No, I'm with Marwan Barghouti. And I say this to the United States government and even to the Israeli government. You're making a big mistake by this trumped-up incarceration of Barghouti. He is the one man who could bridge the gap between the Islamic and the nationalist trends in the Palestinian society. He is the one clean leader of Fatah. He's the one uncorrupted and competent leader of Fatah. He should have run for president last time. I appealed to him to do so. He was persuaded in prison conditions in a way which was improper in my opinion, not to do so. It's time to release him and bring him to the negotiating table, because what Barghouti can do is unite the Palestinian factions in a way that I don't believe any other leader can do.